What's up guys, Brad here, and today we're going to be talking about the top 10 cards for free-to-play user from the Ngoro set. So basically these are just cards that are very cheap to craft. Highest is going to be a rare card, which means that you're going to only need 100 dust to craft one of these. 200 obviously if you want both cards in your deck, but a good chunk of them are also common, so it means they're only 40 dust, 80 for the pair. So let's just jump right into it with number 10, Radiant Elemental, the Priest common card, 2 mana, 2/3. Your spells cost 1 less. It also has the Elemental tag, so if you want to try and make a Elemental Priest deck, Elemental cards are usually pretty cheap, minus Blaze Caller being an epic card. But most of them are either rare or common, so you have that going for you. But Radiant Elemental is just so powerful because of the fact that it's great for comboing with your spells being cheap, and maybe making use of Divine Inner Fire combo instead of having to be a 3 mana combo with 2 cards. It's just a 1 mana combo because your Inner Fire will be free and Divine Spirit will only be 1 mana. Another nice little play is play on 2. Turn 2, you play Radiant Elemental, and you also play Power Word Shield to have a 2 mana 2/5, which is also very strong. The reason this card is ranked 10 is due to the fact that it is a priest card, and usually the spell cost isn't. It is very useful, it is, but it's not as useful as a lot of these other cards due to the fact that a lot of times this card is so powerful because of the Priest Legendary Lyra. Now, Lyra is obviously extremely powerful, being able to generate a bunch of priest spells out of thin air. But the fact of it is that most likely if you're free to play, maybe you don't have it. And I also should have said this in the beginning, but there are some class cards in here. As you can see, this is a priest class card. The class cards don't craft every card unless you have a ton of extra dust, but even still, I wouldn't recommend crafting them all. I would just craft the cards that you have the most of in a set. So basically, if you have a ton of maybe Mage and Hunter cards, maybe the Mage, Hunter, and Neutral cards are the ones that you want to craft within this video. So don't go out of your way and craft the Priest card if you have barely any Priest cards. So we will go to number 9, which is Spike Ridge Steed. Being a rare card and a little bit of a slower turn, 6 mana. 2/6, buff a minion 2/6, and then when it dies, it also becomes a Stegodon, which is also a 2/6 body with taunt. This is a very powerful effect, and basically, you see a lot of this card in the mid-range control paladins. If you have a lot of paladin cards, this is definitely a go-to. Especially one of the better budget decks I've seen is a budget elemental paladin. It's like hand buff elemental paladin, and you can use this card and it's not going to be any problem. So the reason this is number 9 is kind of similar reason to Radiant Elemental. It's just a slower card, also a little bit more expensive, and I think you can create a lot better decks without dumping a ton into paladins. I don't know, Spiker Seas, it's definitely a great craft, but maybe it's just craft one of, because it is such a slow play, and the hand buff deck isn't very slow. It's kind of a more aggressive deck. But yeah, so that is an idea. And continuing on with Paladin, we'll just move into number 8, which is Hydrologist. So Hydrologist is a card that's easily going to be crafting 2 of, since it's also a common. So you're only looking at 80 dust to craft it. And also on top of that, Discovering a Secret turned out to be a lot better than what most people thought in Ngoro. Paladin secrets are usually pretty rough, especially because they're 1 mana and you don't want to fit them in your deck. I don't know, it's just kind of like a waste of a card. There's a lot better cards than the secrets, unless you're playing a secret paladin from Wild. But that's not going to happen. This is also for standard. Hydrologist, it's a fine body, 2 mana, 2/2, and you can also, the secrets aren't bad when discovered. Getting Getaway Kodo and being able to bounce something back that maybe has a lot of value that can generate more cards in your hand is always a positive. Something with a powerful death rattle, such as Tyrion, which you're most likely not going to have if you're free to play, but just as an example, or even being able to use Noble Sacrifice to protect one of your minions is a positive. So yeah, definitely a card I would recommend crafting if you have a decent Paladin collection. So number 7, we have Crackling Razormaw. Now, Crackling Razormaw is a 2 mana 3/2 Battlecry Adaptive Friendly Beast. It's a very good body for with a great effect also. So there's no really negative to this card, especially being a common. So you know, for 80 dust you have 2 of them. But once again, similar reason to why not to craft it is if you don't have a ton of hunter cards. But the one defense I would say to hunter is that they're easily one of the easiest class to understand and to, I don't know, be able to rank up easiest. Usually a lot of people start with hunter, and a mid-ranked hunter can easily get you to rank 10 with cards such as Crackling Razormaw, Alley Cat, and you know, there's Fiery Bat. There's just a lot of cards, card generation beast, and it's very straightforward. Your hero power only goes to the face, so it kind of just points you in the right direction if you're learning the game. And now I put at number 6, I put Ravasaur Runt. Even though it is a neutral, so you can be played in anything, I find it to be the best in Hunter due to the fact that Hunter does have Alley Cat, which generates 2 Beast in one play, 2 1/1s. You also can play in Paladin. They have the spell that creates 2 1/1 tokens. Those are 2 classes that if you're going to play Ravasaur Runt, it's very easy to get this effect off on turn 2, and if you do get the effect off on turn 2, you have a very powerful play. You're looking at a 2 mana 2/5, 2 mana 2/2 with Divine Shield, which shielded Minibot basically, which was in basically every single Paladin deck back in the day. So Ravasaur Runt is a very, very good card. The problem is, I feel like as the game has progressed and people have refined decks, he is the card that has been pushed out the most. But if obviously you're on a budget, this card is still fine. I would recommend crafting them very easily. So at number 5, we have Archeologist. Probably one of the stronger, if not the strongest, class card. The reason why it is not the top spot for a class card, though, is because of the fact that the card that it pairs best with is Ice Block, and Ice Block is a epic card. It's a little more rough to build that secret mage deck that is very popular in the ladder right now. But you still can get away with it, I feel like, in a budget deck. Kirin Tor Mage is a 3 mana 4/3 that works great with this card. So you know, a decent little play would be like turn 1 Mana Worm, turn 2 Archeologist, turn 3 Kirin Tor Mage with the secret that you draw from Archeologist, which could either be Ice Barrier, Mirror Image, and even Counterspell. Those are the 3 secrets I would recommend playing if you're going to try to do a budget version of the deck. And I think you'll still do decently well. Definitely recommend it. And, you know, it has 2 mana 2/3 body. It's pretty good stat wise. Plus the effect, I mean, you can't go wrong with them, especially being only a common card. So for 80 dust, you're golden. And the number 1 class card, in my opinion, but the number 4 card for us is Primal Fin Totem. And funny thing here is the fact that if you look at my other videos, I have a top 10 worst cards in Angoro, and my worst card for Shaman was Primal Fin Totem, because in my opinion I was like, well, what the hell are you going to do with a 2 mana 0/3 totem and it summons a 1/1 Murloc? Murlocs weren't really a thing. They really were banking all of their money on that quest for Shaman, the Murloc quest, and I didn't think it was going anywhere. I thought it was useless. But come to find out, it's not the Murloc part of it. It's just the fact that the fact that you're gonna have a 1/1 and a 0/3 body on turn 2, plus on turn 1 you're probably playing something else, and then you throw down Flametongue Totem, you make some efficient trades, and you play Bloodlust Shaman, which is actually a very, very cheap, efficient deck that can easily get you to rate 10, maybe even further if you pushed with it hard. Probably rank 5, because Thing from Below is a rare card. You can get away easily with just rares and common cards, and there's also a decent amount of basic cards that you just get for playing the game. So Primal Fin Totem surprisingly is very powerful. I found myself actually playing the Bloodlust Shaman, and I made a budget deck on my Europe account, and it did very well. But anyways, yeah, so we'll just continue on there. I could show a video of how to build a budget deck. Maybe that'll be my next videos. I will go through a couple pretty good decks that are budget based for maybe under I don't know, 1600 or 2000 dust that you can easily craft. But number 3, the rest of these are all neutral, so they can be thrown into basically any deck. So definitely craft these babies. Tart Creeper, number 3. 3 mana 1/5 taunt during your opponent's turn, has 2 attacks. So basically, Ascension Shieldmaster for 3 mana when it's your opponent's turn. Card's just extremely powerful, especially facing off against the aggressive decks. Even still, a lot of people who are playing aggressive decks will throw this in their own deck because it protects their other minions from being killed right away. There's a lot of versatility with this card. You see it a lot, and Flametongue Totem becomes even more powerful. It becomes a 3 mana 5/5 in your opponent's turn. So yeah, definitely would craft this guy. Number 2 is the card I feel like I see in most decks, just Firefly. 1 mana 1/2, and the reason is because you just need something to put on the board on turn 1. With the amount of aggressive decks out there, Pyro Warrior, token Shamans, the aggressive aggro Druid, all of them are playing 1-drops. A lot of times they have 1 health, sometimes they have 2 health, which sucks for Firefly, but the fact of it is that you still want a body on the board. Firefly does that. As I said before, Elementals are a pretty cheap deck to build, as most of them are just rares and commons. As I said, minus Blaze Caller. Firefly helps out as you need to play a Elemental the previous turn. Because it generates a Elemental into your hand for 1 mana, is probably one of the more efficient Elementals to play. Yeah, just I don't think anybody really knew that this card, how powerful it was going to be when it was first released, but I don't see this being rotated out with the Frozen Throne personally, but maybe they're going to print something out. And at the time of recording this video, we've only had probably about 10 cards released from Knights of the Frozen Throne, and they aren't very good. So yeah, we'll see. I'm sure the good cards are coming soon. But number 1, we have Stonehill Defender. Big surprise, the rare card, 3 mana 1/4 Silverpack Patriarch with a battle cry of discovering another taunt minion is the best card probably to craft if you're a budget player or a free-to-play player. And the reason is because in certain classes it is just absolutely broken, especially for you free-to-play players. You don't have a lot of dust to craft these legendaries. Well, let me tell you, Paladin has some great taunt minions, and you have an increased chance of discovering, I should say, these taunt minions because of the fact that there's an increased rate to find your class in a discover effect. And for Paladin, there's Tyrion, Sunkeeper Tarim, and whatever that Wicker Flame guy is, the 3 mana 2/2. Also in Shaman, you can get White Eyes and Alakir, and I mean, he's just easily played in all decks. You can play him in Druid. You play basically in any deck. Just I would say first thing you do is if you're not going to buy any more packs for Ungoro, you're done. You're saving up for Knights of the Frozen Throne. You don't, for some reason, have Stonehill Defender yet. Just craft the 2 of them, even if that's the only card out of the whole entire set that I've just mentioned to craft. I would just say Stonehill Defender and Firefly, and you'd be set for this. Because I'm sure there's going to be more cards in Knights of the Frozen Throne. You're going to probably open up some packs, you'll dust some cards, and then maybe there aren't some great cards in Knights of the Frozen Throne, and you come back to this video and you're like, alright, well, what other cards? I play a lot of Mage, so I'll do Archeologist also. But anyways, hopefully this helps you out for you free-to-play players and people just getting started in the game. Let me know in the comments below. I'll make some more videos showing some budget decks. Probably going to do that actually right after this. Not going to go too much into it, just going to go through some deck lists and tell you what to build, what to craft, and whatnot. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a great one.